And this lesson I want to show you that how you can add icon and also title to your PySide window. So now let's create our practical example. So now in here I'm going to create another Python file, and I could just call it, for example, Ford window. And this time we are going to use the object-oriented concepts. Now the first thing is that we are going to just import the required modules and also libraries. So we are going to import Q application and also Q widget. After that, we are going to import sys. Now we can create our class window. Now this class window extends from the Q widget. Okay. Now you can also use Q main window, or for example Q dialog, but we're going to use the Q widget, and we want our this class window extends from the Q widget. Now if you're familiar with the object-oriented programming concepts, when we are extending from a class, then we can access to all attributes of that class. Okay, all attributes and methods of that class. For example, in here, if you see we are extending from the Q widget, then this class window can access all the properties and attributes of this Q widget class. So now we have our class window. After that, we can just say diff init, and also we are going to create our super in here, super function, and I can just say dot init. Okay. Now, so in here you can see these are not related to PySide or Qt for Python. This is a object-oriented programming concepts. Now we have init in here. It's a reserved method in Python classes. It's called as a constructor in object-oriented programming. This method is called when an object is created from a class, and it allows the class to initialize the attributes of that class. Also, we have the super function in here. If you see, now it's used to give access to methods and properties of a parent class, and the super function makes class inheritance more manageable. Also, we have self in here. You can see the word self is used to represent the instance of the class. By using self keyword, we can access the attributes and methods of that class in Python. For example, in here, if you want to change the title of the window, then you can use self.setWindowTitle. Now using self, we can access the, for example, the all attributes or methods of the class, inherited class. Okay, so now we have our class window. After doing that, now it's time to create our Q application. So in here I can just say add Q application, and after doing that, we are going to create our this window in here. So I can just say window, and after that we want to show that window.show, and we are going to enter to the loop. So sys.exit app.execute. Okay, so right now if I run this, you will see that I have just a basic window and there is no problem. So first we want to change the title of the window. So right now it's Python, and that's the default title. So as I've already said that because we are extending from the Q widget class, now there's a method called setWindowTitle in the Q widget. We want to use that, and we can access that using the self. Okay, so we can just say self.setWindowTitle, and I can just say GUI. Okay, so now if I run this, and you can see the title has changed. Also, you can change the width and height of the window. So there is a method called setGeometry. So self.setGeometry. Now in the setGeometry, you can give the x and y position. So for example, for the x and y position, we can give 100, 100, and you can give the width and height, for example, 400 by 300. And if I run it, so now this is the x and y position, and the size is smaller. Okay. Also, you can add an icon. So for adding the icon, first I'm going to create a folder in here. Let me just call it, for example, icon. Now inside the icon, let me just copy an icon. and let me paste the icon in here. And after that, we need to import a class, QIcon class, from the Qt GUI module. Okay, so I can just say from PySide6 dot Qt GUI, we are going to import QIcon. And now in here I can just say self dot set window icon, and we can use QIcon. And in here you need to give the icon name. Okay, so icon folder, and that's qt.png. And if I run this, and you can see that we have our icon in here. Also, for example, you can change the background color, so self dot set style sheet, and I can just say background color, and I can use red color. So now if I run this, I have a red color background in here. Also, so you can see that we have the red color background. Now you can you can use Qt Creator to create, but for that you need to just create a resource. So let me show you the example. For example, I'm going to create a new project in here, and Qt for Python, and I can just say, for example, third window, and in here I want to click on next, so I want to use PySide6, so I want to use Q widget, click on next and finish. So now this is the project. Let me close the second project. Okay, so right now we have just a basic window. For example, we want to change the title, and I can just say self.set window title, and I can just say, for example, so now if I run this, you can see that we have that, and the title is changed. Let me just make this execute. And also, for example, we can change the geometry, and so let me just add this in here, and if I run it, so now the geometry is changed. Okay, missing white space after. Okay, it's sometime it's there's no problem. It's just a warning that for example, if it's telling that add white space or like this. Okay, now also for example, we can add an icon in here. So for adding the icon, we are going to just click on add new, and here we are going to use our source file, so we can just say Qt resource file. Now this is a little bit different than the PyCharm ID because it's the Qt Creator system, and it will give you more features and functionalities. So we're going to use Qt resource file, and I'm going to just click on this, and I can just say icon, next, and finish. Okay, so now we have icon.qrc, and also I can just name it this also icon, or I can just say, for example, image. And now let me just copy the icon in here, and I can just click on add files, and I can paste that in here and click on OK. So that's added and that's saved. Okay, so now if you see in the QRC, we have image and we have qt.png. Okay, so now in here I can just say self.set icon, and in here we need to use QIcon, and let's just use it. So in here we can just use it like this, and I can just say image, and that's qt.png, and if you see we have an error, and it's because we need to import QIcon. Okay, so from PySide.qt GUI we are going to import QIcon. Okay, so now if I run it, no module So let me import it like this. Maybe there's a typo. Let's run it again. Set icon has no attribute set icon, and oh, that's set window icon. We need to just use set window icon. So set window icon. Let's run it again. And now we have this, but we are not seeing the icon in here. So image and cute.png. Okay, so right now you can see that we are not seeing any icon here. I'll fix this in the next lesson, but you can see that like this, you can just add the title or geometry. So right now you can see that we are not seeing the icon in here, and that's because we are using Python, and to use this icon.qrc, we need to convert this to resource to the .py file. Okay, for example, to resources.py file. Now to do that, you can just right click in your project. After that, you can just say open command prompt here, and after that it will open the terminal. Now in this terminal we are going to convert that. Okay, so in here I can just say PySide6, and after that I can just say we can use RCC. Using the RCC module we can convert that. After doing that, you need to give the name of the QRC file, so that is icon.qrc, and after that we want to create the output, so -o. Now the output, for example, it should be resources.py. Okay, so resources.py. After that, hit enter. Okay, now that's converted, and after doing that, now in here we need to just import the resource. So import resources. Okay, okay, so now we have imported the resources. There is no problem. This is just a warning, and also we have a warning in here. It should be 2 blank space. Now these warnings are from the blank spaces that we need to give. And now if I run this, and you can see that now we are seeing our icon in here.